It's time to cancel everything. And if it isn't essential, don't do it.
We are implementing a stay-at-home order for 3 weeks.
Mayor Garcetti and Gavin Newsom is responsible for every single person that doesn't have unemployment, that does not have a job, and all the businesses that are going under. And we need your help. We need somebody to do something about this.
Angela Marsden is one of the many frustrated business owners suffering as a result of extreme COVID-19 restrictions.
Look at this.
Marsden spent $80,000 setting up an indoor patio for her customers, but then was forced to close just as tables and tents were set up next door to feed Hollywood construction workers.
Let us make money and feed our families.
Other business owners are now pushing back too, with one protest taking place outside the home of LA County Supervisor Sheila Keel.
Tell people that they have to stay home, that's a luxury. That's a luxury afforded to people that have jobs that can keep them in home, or for politicians like this one that makes $25,000 a month.
Joe Biden won the election in part by hammering Donald Trump's handling of the coronavirus since it emerged last March. Back then, resistance to prescribed public health policies of 6-foot social distancing and wearing masks occurred mostly on the political right, with Mr. Trump's support. But today, the presumptive president's COVID policy is a work in progress.
We discussed the implementation of a national mask mandate.
What is clear is that some of the most visible dissenters from Trump's coronavirus policy are themselves now in charge of administering this surge.
COVID is the Grinch.
We have not yet seen the full impact of activities around Thanksgiving.
Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we may see a surge upon a surge.
What's going on now with the politics of COVID strikes me as related to the unexpected election results in the House of Representatives. It took something beyond votes from the political right to produce the Democrats' House losses, especially in California and New York.
They don't want to be wrong. That's the problem. Because if they come out and say we made a mistake, they're admitting that they wasted 9 months and got nothing out of it and destroyed people's lives.
As in California, here in New York City, it's hard not to appreciate and admire the good faith effort restaurant owners have made to comply with the Cuomo indoor capacity restrictions. But now they, like restaurants and small businesses elsewhere, are being told that the burden of bailing out everyone else from COVID's threat is overwhelmingly on them.
Pre-pandemic, there were more than 300,000 people working in our city's restaurants and bars. In April, after the initial shutdown, we plummeted to about 90,000 jobs. And since then, due to outdoor dining and limited indoor dining, we've hired back about 100,000 people, meaning there's still somewhere about 130,000 people out of work. And if we get shut down again, what's going to happen to those 100,000 jobs on top of the 130,000 that are still gone?
Some who refused to close, like the owner of Mac's Public House in Staten Island, were arrested and let out in handcuffs by sheriff's deputies. Since then, there have been protests.
De Blasio and now Cuomo have told the people of Staten Island, New York City, and the country that if you speak up to the emperor, you get crushed.
Governor Cuomo cites a CDC study which concludes that infection transmission occurs inside restaurants. But where is the epidemiological study that says pushing small businesses and their workers over the brink of economic survival has to be the default policy for fighting COVID?
I think you have to let people earn a living, and it's really not even government's role to say who could pick and choose.
The new COVID resistance isn't rising in states like Florida. It's emerging in liberal states such as New York and California. One clear lesson here is that if you want to live in a state without authoritarian impulses, your best bet is to move red.
The possibility of shutting down, you're going to have everyone's just going to leave. I really feel they're going to leave and go to other states and other cities where there is work for them.